How beautiful when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says be and it just happens. So we have no question. We just make the intention, we set the goal, we write it, we think about it, we work hard while asking Him continuously. So there is nothing. Whatever we attract, we keep on asking. And if we don't attract, we will not be asking about it. So this law of attraction in an Islamic perspective is very relevant. Welcome to Law of Dua podcast. Law of Dua? Yes, Law of Dua. Why Law of Dua? Because as Muslims, whenever we say law of attraction, there is this concept. No. You shouldn't be talking about law of attraction. It's haram. Yes, as per the secret, whatever the law of attraction talks about is haram. But let's look at the law of attraction from an Islamic perspective. I would say I create my own reality with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ask Him and He shall give. Let's look at this verse. وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي سَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمَ دَاخِرِينَ. Your Lord has proclaimed, call upon me, I will respond to you. Surely those who are too proud to worship me will enter hell, fully humbled. Al-Ghafir 70. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala proclaiming us, call upon Him and He will answer our prayers. So now let's connect to law of attraction. But before we connect to law of attraction, let me talk about my journey through law of attraction and fulfilling my dreams. It is my target to bring 2 episodes of Law of Dua every month. So I hope you will be joining me. If you have not already done, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so that I can reach out to you directly. Thank you. In 2016, I came across law of attraction. I heard about the story from one of YouTube videos, but I realized no, I cannot use this one because it talks about non-Muslim, non-Islamic things, and I pushed it away. And again in 2019, I listened to the book, The Secret, and I thought, okay, this is powerful technique and I can achieve any of my goals through this one. So I started using it a little bit, but then as I went deep into the book, I realized, no, I cannot use it because it is saying attracting things from universe, and this is totally not relevant to Muslims. As a Muslim girl, I cannot use it. So I thought, okay, let's push it away. This is bullshit. So I just pushed it away. But then came incidences where I was seeing these Instagram videos of one lady. She was saying, last month I attracted $5,000. The second month I attracted $30,000. I attracted my car. And then when she started talking about these things, the thought that crossed my mind was, well, she is a non-Muslim and she is saying that I am attracting 30,000, and she is talking about her process of attracting $30,000. So I thought, if she is, as a non-Muslim believer, if she is doing this, she is asking universe, let me dig deep into this one and understand what is happening. So I also wrote a goal that I wanted to earn $5,000. As I was listening to this, I was also getting certified as a coach, and I was listening to a lot of Quranic tafsir and listening to the Prophet's hadith, and I was contemplating on whatever I was learning. And then I came across this verse. It says, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي سَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمَ دَاخِرِينَ. Your Lord has proclaimed, call upon me, I will respond to you. Surely those who are too proud to worship me will enter hell, fully humbled. Al-Ghafir 70. Now, when I reflected upon this verse, what that came to my mind was, well, the book says attracting things from universe, but here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is proclaiming that call upon me and I shall answer your prayers. I started asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So during that time, I came up with 4 goals for my life. That time I was struggling with my second marriage, so I was almost about to go into a divorce. Also, my eldest son was 16, 17 and my younger son was 15, and I really had to deal with that depressive thoughts that were coming to me. And one thing I learned during that time was I have to continuously ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I started praying tahajjud. I set a goal, my kids are in good health, I'm in a good relationship with my kids and my kids are. So basically I went into the verse, ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. I was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be the best parent, to be the best spouse, and also let me become somebody who people listen up to. And then I came up to the second verse, رب هب لي حكما وألحقني بالصالحين واجعل لي لسان صدق في الآخرين واجعلني من ورثة جنة النعيم. I was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make me among the educators so that people will be remembering me even when I leave the world. And also I was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me financial freedom. I was struggling that time. I had a job, but a 20K per month job I just left because I was struggling with my marriage and I didn't know what to do. So one day I just gave resignation and I came home. And then I was suffering, and I was also into depression. My eldest son was into depression, and this so much chaotic life was with me. But there was one thing, I believed in Allah. I trusted Allah and I kept on praying tahajjud, praying luha, and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me success of this world and success of the hereafter, and to save me from hellfire. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. I was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me the best of this world, to grant me the best of hereafter, and also to save me from hellfire. I realized slowly I was increasing and enhancing my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also during that time I was going through several coaching programs and understanding how our brain, the mind works. The brain is the physical organ, the mind is the software. So how to reprogram our mind, our brain, so that I can achieve the best result. And one thing I kept on constantly hearing from experts like Tony Robbins, he was saying brain priming, where I just put a goal on in somewhere that I can see, like I put $5,000 on my wall. So every time when I walk out of my room, I can see $5,000, and I kept on believing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help me manifest this one. And I kept on believing and asking daily. I didn't stop my work. I kept on working. Like I was working 12 to 16, 18 hours a day. Every day I was working. And then suddenly the magic happened. I was able to earn $5,000 within just a span of 3 months. That time my target to achieve $5,000 was because I wanted to pay for the John Maxwell certification course, and within 3 months I was able to achieve it. Now, the moment I achieved it, I kept on reflecting what happened just now. And then I realized this is law of attraction. But I wasn't asking the universe. I was asking the Almighty Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fulfill my wish. And then He granted my wish. He made it, my dream come true. So I kept on putting up more challenges. I kept on asking, I kept on working hard, and I kept on as well visualizing. And through this, events, I was able to achieve financial freedom, mental freedom, and time freedom. I work only 4 to 5 hours a day now. Of course, I do work when I want to keep on doing additional projects, but to earn money, I work only 4 to 5 hours a day. So that's the difference it made. Now, if we reflect, the first thing that we have to understand is when we talk about law of attraction, we are saying whatever things that you are attracting, you are thinking about, you will be directed towards those things. Like this year, I made a target. I want to visit the Kaaba, that's the holy place in Mecca, because constantly I was thinking, I was visualizing, I was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also I was bugging my husband, let's go, let's plan. And he was so kind and helpful that we were able to visit 8 times. So this is the power of law of attraction. But instead of calling law of attraction, we will call it law of dua. Whatever you make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be achieving it. But when it comes to our brain, how our brain works, let's use the word law of attraction, because whatever you attract, whatever you think about, let's imagine it as a chain. If you imagine it as a chain, so there are empty circles, and then you connect this one circle, and then you connect the next circle, and the next circle, and the next circle. So the neurons of our brains get connected, and because of this connection, whatever we are targeting is being like strengthened. The neurons are getting strengthened. This is Dr. Tara explaining how we are attracting and how we are achieving our goals as per the neuroscience. So when we connect neuroscience and Islamic perspectives, our trust and our asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we manifest the things that we create our own reality. Now remember, from what differentiates us human beings from the animals is our brain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the choice to decide. Of course, whatever that happens, we don't have control. But there is something that we can have control. That's what Jack Canfield talks about. Event plus response equal outcome. E plus R equal O. Event, which is something that we don't have control over. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends things our way and we don't have any control over. But we have one thing that we have control over. That is how we react to the situation. And these two things combined together gives us the outcome. So initially when I talked about law of attraction, the moment I heard about law of attraction, I said, no. This is bullshit. Let's leave it. And I wasn't doing anything. But the moment I started reflecting, pondering about what is really happening, I was able to achieve my goal, because I believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I was constantly asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then I was also doing the hard work. It was hard work. It was the dedicated work that gave me the results. So my dear friends, if you have dreams, write those dreams as goals. We are starting the new year. So write those goals on a piece of paper. Once we make the intention, we have to understand why we are making that intention, and then after the intention, we just pray and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not praying once, it's praying daily. After each prayer, you raise your hand and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you your wish come true. And then you keep on working until you achieve. Remember, you might set a goal that you say, I want to achieve so and so at the end of 6 months. But don't attach, of course, you should write the timeline. But even if you don't achieve that, don't lose your hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have a different plan for us. We don't know about that plan. That's total uncertainty. But instead of thinking about the destination, just enjoy the journey. Believe in the journey, believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, trust Him, and then keep on doing whatever you are doing. And with that, we will be able to achieve any goal. Now, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When we are saying that whatever we attract, we are attracting from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's look at who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described Himself clearly in Quran. Let's look at these verses. In Ashura 19, لله ملك السماوات والأرض يخلق ما يشاء. To Allah belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. He creates what He wills. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala controls the dominions of the heavens and earth. Now let's look at this verse. This is Al-A'raf 54. إن ربكم الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في ستة أيام ثم استوى على الأرش يحشي الليل النهار يطلبه حثيثا والشمس والقمر والنجوم مسخرات بأمره ألا له الخلق والأمر تبارك الله رب العالمين. Indeed, your Lord is Allah, who created the heavens and earth in 6 days and then established Himself above the throne. He covers the night with the day, another night chasing it rapidly, and He created the sun, the moon, and the stars subjected by His command. Unquestionably, He is the creation and the command. Blessed is Allah, Lord of the worlds. How beautifully it is said in the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described Himself for us. He created the world in 6 days. So do we doubt about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will? Let's look upon more verses. This is Az-Zariyat number 56. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us to worship Him. And whatever we ask, whatever success we ask, we have to ask only from Him. Do you agree? So we can't say that we are attracting from the universe, but in the future episodes we will describe more about the universe as well. But let's keep it. We worship only Allah and we ask from Allah only. Now let's look at this verse. This verse is Al-Baqarah 117. بديع السماوات والأرض وإذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. Originator of the heavens and the earth. When He decree a matter, He only says to it, be, and it is. How beautiful. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says be, and it just happens. So we have no question. We just make the intention, we set the goal, we write it, we think about it, we work hard while asking Him continuously. So there is nothing. Whatever we attract, we keep on asking. And if we don't attract, we will not be asking about it. So this law of attraction in an Islamic perspective, it's very relevant. But we'll call it law of dua, as I said earlier. When we talk about law of attraction, we are not talking about the book Secret, but we are talking about the decree. The Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, call upon Him. Visualize these things. We don't see the heaven, but we are given the verses of Quran and then we have to visualize it so that we end up in Jannah. So this is the beauty of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most powerful and we should continuously ask Him to bless us, to guide us, to help us, to make our dreams come true. We have to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the way we do it is through dua. So it's called law of dua. And when we think about our mind, we attract, we think about things, we continuously ponder about things, we continuously chase things, and whatever we chase, we are able to achieve because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers our prayers. Look forward to have you in the next episode as well. If you have any comments, please write in the comment section so that I can make the podcast a better one. I can bring in information that you can use, you can apply it. So next time when somebody says law of attraction is haram, forget about the secret and then think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about the power of your brain and then start working toward, write your goals, working toward it, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continuously, and you surely will do it. I did it and you will do it inshallah by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you.